Alrighty guys, it's once again that time of the month where I have to let you know about all the upcoming content that is coming to the NA version of the game for the month of March 2026. It's been a long time since I've been able to say that. And this upcoming March is looking like, well, it's not going to be packed to the brim with content, but what it has is going to be pretty entertaining and pretty good for most players. Especially if you're newer, there should be a really nice raid up towards the end of the month that I think you'll be looking forward to. So with that being said, do all the YouTube things, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, click all the links in the description, all that blah 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 stuff, but I ain't got time to be focused on that because there is a decent bit to go into for this month, starting off with the major thing that everybody is wondering. I know, you're sitting there at the edge of your seat saying, ZTL, when is Ordeal Call Chapter 2 coming out? I'm literally geeking out right now. And don't worry, I've got you covered. It should be dropping around March 11th because it dropped on JP 2 weeks after the Charlemagne event came out. So if we just think 2 weeks from now, March 11th, that is when you should be expecting this to drop. Now, if you're another player, you might be saying, why was that guy geeking out? Why is he literally shaking his monitor wanting this to come out? Well, let's go over just the myriad of different things that we're getting for Ordeal Call 2. For one, I think the major thing that a lot of people are looking forward to is Jean and Jalter's buffs. These are both very powerful buffs for the both of them, with Jean becoming a bit more of a supportive servant, giving 20% arts to the entire party, giving everybody 20% NP gauge, and also regenerating 15 stars every turn for 3 turns. So on top of her NP being functionally a baby Castoria NP, her second skill buff allowing you to do some pretty good damage with the defense down, this kinda starts to complete things if you want to bring her not only into art setups, but really just any challenge quest oriented setup. Sure, not everybody can take advantage of the arts performance buff, but everybody wants extra crit stars, everybody wants extra NP gauge, and everybody would love to take advantage of an NP that's giving them invincibility, debuff cleanse, HP every single turn, and a comical 5% defense. But hey, if you've got her at like NV2 to even 5, that turns into 15 to 25% defense and becomes a little bit more notable. But Jalter, I think, is going to have a more immediate impact. Hers is a very basic buff that she's receiving. It really does nothing else to the Buster buff, the Invul for return. It just does one thing. It gives her a big Mondo 50% battery, or for my newer players, charging her NP gauge by half. This is good for a myriad of different reasons. For one, if you need to do single target farming, like it's a 1-1-1 node, there's only one enemy per wave, that makes her viable for doing that, because the 50% battery will allow her to loop this with Koyenskaya. It also means that if you just needed to chunk a really large enemy in a 90++ node, say, I don't know, the first enemy is some annoying ruler, it's Amakusa or something, and he's sitting there with a fat 250k HP. Oh no, my caster that I was going to use to defeat the assassins can't beat the ruler. Wham bam, thank you man, slap Jalter in there, let her just rip and tear through that guy, because I don't know if you remember, even without any power mods or anything, this is still the servant with the highest attack stat in the game, and power mods, you know, don't really matter to this character. She's gonna smack you for an obscene amount of damage. Sure, someone like Kentoki might still be a better option against people that are not rulers or that are berserkers, but Jalter, if you make her super effective, is going to absolutely eviscerate people. And I can say I've tested this on JP, she can still do some really good damage type neutral. So even though this doesn't really change how much damage she's doing, it opens a lot of doors for Jalter so that you can use her in more team comps. It's also just nice if you're going into a boss fight. The 50% battery, not bad. It just lets you more often fire her NP. That's always good. We love to see it. But on top of those characters getting buffed, we're also going to be getting at least four count 'em banners for Ordeal Call number 2. and they're going to be releasing a couple of days after one another. So the first banner that will drop when Ordeal Call 2 drops is going to be featuring the new servant Marie Alter, who is story locked. So I know for some people that are waifu hunting, that might be relevant information, because you can't just pick this character up for free on a potential free 5-star ticket unless they start adding more and more story-locked characters on there, and she won't just randomly pop into one of your summons. She's going to be relegated to what, like Valentine's right up when they bring all the female characters back, or the dreaded story gacha, but she's also going to be bringing Hassan of the Shining Star alongside her. Now, just real quick, I know I'm going to do a real servant review for Marie Alter and Hassan of the Shining Star, but to keep it simple, both of these characters are alright. I think Marie Alter is a very strong character, probably a little bit better going into challenge quests than she is a farmer. Can still farm alright, but if you've already got people like Summer Ibuki, Summer Melusine, maybe even Summer Masashi with her most recent buff, you're probably not gonna need to go for Marie Alter. I would know because I had some of those characters, pulled from Marie Alter for obvious reasons, and found that she wasn't really replacing the go-to arts farmers that I was already using. She can do pretty solid damage, you know, she does have an okay ability to loop with her ability to refund her NP every single turn, I believe on her first skill, and the fact that she's an Avenger, and will refund her Noble Phantasm gauge every single turn naturally on top of that as well, but it's not really pushing the needle forward on arts loopers, if you get what I'm saying. So if you want to use her, you can, but if you're kind of strapped for Saint Quartz and you're really stressing about this one, you can skip out on Marie Alter. It's not that you need to have this character unless you need to have her for waifu reasons. Hassan of the Shining Star I think is alright. I think he's fine. I mean, he's an assassin, so he kind of struggles from lower damage, but you could put him in some team comps and make him work. I mean, if you're summoning for Marie Alter, you're probably going to be seeing quite a bit of this dude, and if you pull enough copies, you can offset that NP1 damage by getting him to NP5 while you're struggling to pull for Marie Alter. The second banner will come out 3 days after Marie Alter goes live, and that will be a banner featuring Jean Alter and Antonio Salieri, which actually ain't a bad banner. But this is where things get a little bit dicey, because if you're going for your waifu character, then by all means you can summon for Jalter, but if you do want the better single target Avenger, you just gotta wait a couple of days after this banner goes live, because, well, spoiler alert, we're covering all the stuff for Ordeal Call 2, and that's when the count is going to release. So if you are more of a, I want the best characters possible, I want to be doing maximum Mondo damage, I want to be on top of the meta and everything, you probably wait a couple of days and you summon for the count. But if you've missed out on some copies of Jalter, or just don't have her at all, and would rather look at the pretty Jalter rather than the menacing Count of Monte Cristo, I completely understand it. By all means, go summon on the Jalter banner. It's not like she's terrible or anything. It's not like, oh my goodness, you summon for Jalter over the Count? What are you, stupid? No, nobody's gonna say that. Jalter's still very, very strong. It's just, it's kind of inarguable that the count is a little bit ridiculous. You know, we don't hold it against Jalter. You know, this, like, what, year 1-ish servant is trying to compete with a year 10 servant. Yeah, nobody's surprised that the year 10 servant is going to be better. But if you were just wanting to use Jalter because she's going to get that buff, maybe you're missing out, then she will go on rate up. And if you don't have, you know, Salieri already NP5, this is also a good chance to go ahead and pick him up, because he should also be coming up on a buff to his NP that makes him anti-star, I believe. It's for an Ordeal Call 2, like, support clearing campaign, something along those lines. So we are going to be due for that, of course, after Ordeal Call 2 finishes. So if you want to get this guy prepped and ready so you can use him when he does receive that buff, this is also not a bad banner to go on. Plus, Jalter is hot. But then, 2 days after that, we will have the return of Tyra no Kagekiyo and Marie Antoinette Ryder. Now, you guys know me. I love Tyra. I think Tyra is absolutely insane and is still worth rolling for, but man, it is really hard when you look at some of these other banners. You know, spoiler alert, the last banner is going to be Cagliostro and the Count, both of which are really strong, so even if you don't get the Count, you can still get Cagliostro, and then Jalter, well, even if you don't get her, you still probably finished getting Salieri to NP5 if you didn't have him already. And then the first banner is new and exciting, you know, oh man, new character, Marie Alter, a new Hassan, Shining Star. I get it, you gotta probably make normal Marie summonable, but considering that normal Marie still isn't very good, and that's putting it lightly, it's a little unfortunate for Tyra. But I think Tyra is so good that she makes up for it. If you're wondering about, you know, ZTL, I don't really care about, you know, how waifuable these characters are. Should I summon for Tyra or Jalter? I'm going to tell you to summon for Tyra every single day of the week. I mean, I love Jalter to pieces. Longtime viewers know that before Morgan, Jalter was the one holding it down. And I still tell people I'm not sure who I like more. You know, it just kind of depends on the day. Some days Morgan's one, some days Jalter's number one. They're always fighting for that number one spot. But even then, I can't just not tell people that Tyra is way better than Jalter. Have you seen what Tyra does? My girl Jalter is over here fighting for her life with a charisma that she can't even double buff herself on. An offensive buff that's one turn and is tied with her survivability. Just finally now got a battery and then a crit skill. She is fighting for her life out here while Tyra is just like 100% critting, just destroying Genji, stacking up double guts and then powering up as she pops guts, and just ridiculous character all around. I mean, the only reason you wouldn't summon for Tyra is because you waited 2 days, and that's, again, when we get the Count of Monte Cristo and Alessandro di Cagliostro. I hope my Italians don't come flame me. Is he even Italian? Now that I think about it, I might just be looking at his name and be like, ah, yeah, that sounds Italian enough. Comments, go ahead and flame me if he's not Italian. You guys are going to tell me that he's Spanish or something. I don't know, man. This is the first time I've ever heard of this guy. I'm really looking forward to Ordeal Call too, because I love his design, but I just don't know anything about this guy. But what I do know is that he's actually pretty solid in-game. Not only can you get what is probably the best single target at release when this guy drops, maybe now on JP we can make arguments for other single targets that might be better than the Count over here. But when he drops, when he comes out, I'm pretty comfortable in saying this is the best single target in the game. This dude just comes in and drops his nuts on the game. I mean, we're rocking everything you would want. I mean, his power mod, free, burn the enemy. I apply burn. Slap command codes on him that apply burn. I got the big battery. I do the big crits. I can build up more burn to do more power mods. I pierce invo. I do all the things. Everything you would want a DPS to do, they do. And because he's quick and they know Scotty's not going to save him, he's even got survivability for himself. Like, the dude does everything. The dude is broken. And then if you don't get the Count, Cagliostro's also good. You could grab yourself a pretty decent offensive pretender, so if you're lacking a pretender, this ain't a bad banner to go on. The only reason you wouldn't summon for the Count is if you're literally me and you want more copies of Jalter. I think I'm at NP2 right now, and I would like some additional ones. So you probably will see me with my measly savings of like 100 Saint Quartz being like, I hope I get NP3. But I wouldn't say that's smart. You know, that's just me because I already have pretty much all the characters I want. I'm going to start going for higher NP copies. But the Count is broken. If you're going to summon for somebody, go for the Count. He's ridiculous. Now, regardless of what banner you summon on, there are going to be new permanent craft essences added into the pool. The first one is featuring the freaky guy from Fate Stay Night over here, Mr. Bugman, with the one who failed to attain immortality. This is actually kind of an interesting craft essence. Not only is it like Black Grail, where if you fully max limit break it, it doesn't just give you 2,000 attack, it gives you 2,400, and it gives you an on-death buff where when your character dies, they have a 200% chance to skill seal the person who defeated them for 2 turns, and then also hit them with the curse of either 1,000 or 2,000 depending on limit break. There's really not a huge stress to max limit break this aside from the maximum attack you can get, but it's not bad. It's really interesting because sealing the enemy skills for 2 turns is not bad, and the fact that it's a 200% chance does mean it gets around, you know, a person that might have 100% debuff resistance, right? It's pretty much guaranteed to apply unless they have debuff immune or something along those lines. So it's not a bad craft essence if you do pick it up. The only downside is you have to look at the freaky dude being on your main screen on your team comp. But aside from that, it's not too bad. You know, I think it's a little interesting. I'm probably going to tinker with it. The other one that I think is interesting is the Shishigo CE that we're going to be getting, Recollections from the Tobacco Smoke. So functionally, this is just the old Infinite Guts craft essence that you see everybody meme around with. It's just that, but brought into the new age. Basically, what it does is it gives you a Guts, and then it has a 50-50 chance to give you a Guts when you're defeated. So functionally, if you just love gambling, if you just channel your inner Hikari, you can just have infinite Guts, which is hilarious. I mean, 50-50 shot ain't the worst thing in the world, but it's not exactly guaranteed. And now it also gives you a little bit of crit damage, 5 to 10% depending on limit break. It's a split attack and HPCE, so I wouldn't worry too much about like trying to max level it, unless you want to eke every possible stat out of this. But I wanted to shout it out because, look, maybe you're a new player and you're struggling. Maybe some of these bosses are just too tough for you, but you do pull Recollections from the Tobacco Smoke. You could just slap that on there and get it twisted, right? You could just start gambling to try to gamble your way to victory. So it is there, you know. I wouldn't advise that it's the best strategy. I think going for the supports and trying to build a real team and everything is probably better, but it is there. If you want to gamble, you can gamble. But that is the main thing that we're going to be getting in March. The other thing that we should be getting is the Spring New Master Aid campaign. And I was sure we already got this, but lo and behold, it actually came out in late March for JP and went all the way to May. This is actually not a bad campaign, because first and foremost, you're getting a little bit of Saint Quartz and you're getting a summoning ticket. Who doesn't like Saint Quartz and a summoning ticket? I know I would absolutely love to have that, because my funds are going to be decimated, and I gotta summon for Jalter and then build everything back up so I can summon for Morgan 3 right before the BB and all that stuff happens for Anniversary, so I'm going to be a wreck. There are also some exclusive limited time missions to give you some more Saint Quartz and some tickets. They're really simple. You know, add 3 friends, and the fact that they're increasing the friend limit by 3 just means go make 3 more friends and you can get yourself 6 Saint Quartz. If you've leveled up your mash to level 30, you get a ticket. If you clear 1 arrow of a main story quest, or if you're already fully caught up, you just get this super adorable Jean and Charlemagne CE. Look at how cute that Jean is. And then you just gotta go do 1 a piece of all of your dailies. You know, go do the doors, you get 100 mil QP, or not 100, I wish it was 100 mil, you get 100,000 QP. If you go do training grounds, you get a gold apple. If you go do embers, you get 10 EXP cards. It's super easy. Roll the friend point gacha. That's probably one of your weekly missions anyway, and you get more friend point. This is also a really good time if you want to grind a lot of your characters, because there is going to be a doubled rate of great and super success. So if you're like me and you're kind of eyeing up your Jalter that she might be your next 120, this is where you start breaking out all of those EXP cards and you start leveling them up. If you're not caught up with all of the main quests, functionally all of the main quests are going to be like 0 AP or whatever, so you'll be able to just kind of start boom, 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 just start running through all of those. And then if you have a friend that has either played FGO but hasn't logged in a while, or is not playing the game, this is when you shake them down and say, start playing the game, because there's a Start Dash campaign where you get a boatload of Saint Quartz, and you're gonna want those Saint Quartz for what is going up on Rate Up. Because in order to help out all of the masters in this game, they thought we need to bring somebody back. Someone that is just universally known as the GOAT. And that is Artoria Caster, Castoria, Gremlin, whatever you want to call her. The Pipe Bomb Connoisseur is going back on Rate Up. And if you are a new player and you've just been kind of listening to this in the background and you've just been la-di-da-di-da, not paying attention, lock in, because I'm going to tell you, if you do not have this character, go summon for them. I do not care if someone else is going up on Rate Up and you want them, you summon for this character. Because I've seen this happen too many times, alright? I'll tell people, go summon for Castoria, and they say, no, I'm gonna go summon for this character I really like, and then they get into FGO and realize, I should have listened, I should have grabbed this character. They are stupid, nuts, good. They are pretty much universally viewed as the best character in the game. In fact, a couple years back, I did a video talking about who is the best character in the game, and I went around and asked a lot of people in the community to make sure I wasn't smoking crack or anything, and everybody was like, yeah, it's probably Castoria, probably Castoria, probably Castoria. This character is just stupid nuts. They're insanely good. You might even think, ZTL, I'm not a big fan of the blue card. I want to use red cards. Well, what if I told you Castoria works with everybody? What if I told you she's just good for pretty much anything? You want to do looping? She's great for that. You want to use green cards? Guess what? She gives you 50% battery and some NP gain. That just might be enough, buddy boy. You want to use a Buster character going into CQs? Can I interest you in the Immortal team comp where Morgan's best partner is Castoria? Yeah, the Buster character wants to have the art support as their support for that fight. It's redonkulous, okay? I cannot stress it enough. If you are playing the game and you do not have Castoria, get your grubby little mitts on this character. Get your mitts on them and get them into your Chaldea immediately. And then, once you have Castoria, if you want to summon for anybody else, I don't care. You know, by that point, you've won the game. You know, you won. Congratulations, you won Fate Grand Order. Now, after getting super, let's just say, passionate about the Castoria going on Raid Up, the last thing is realistically friend list expansion. That's the big game update that we're getting. But look, tell all your friends, you summon for that Castoria. If you do not have Castoria, you throw everything you have at that, alright? Like, I'm even gonna say, and this hurts my heart to say, even if you're a huge Jalter fan and you see her going on Raid Up, you gotta put the Saint Quartz down and you gotta go summon for that Castoria. That Castoria is ridiculous. She works with everybody. Everybody loves Castoria, and Castoria loves everybody except for the Fae. I'll get to that eventually when we do the Lost Build 6 story recap. But that is at least all of the stuff that is guaranteed for March, because we already have the Charlemagne event going on. We actually got it a little early. It's supposed to be for White Day, but we got it at the end of February, so, I mean, that's neat. Ordeal Call 2 is kind of the main selling thing that we're getting, the big major campaign, and then the spring campaign is kind of just go farm materials, here's Castoria, get new people to start playing the game, as we start to get ready for more real content coming in. I know some people are speculating that we might get the Auko event, the whole, like, springtime thing. Or not springtime, but the hot spring event, that will be coming out early as well. But it came out in really late April, I believe, so I don't think they'll push it back that much. I could be wrong, and they might be ballsy enough to do something like that, but I'm not counting on them trying to drop Auko at the end of March. I think they're just going to save that more for April. But we shall see. I'm not going to cover it in this video because we're already going on long enough, and I don't want to yap about a whole extra event that may or may not actually come out in March. So main things, let's recap. Ordeal Call 2, new characters, Marie Alter, Count really broken, Cagliostro, good consolation prize on the Count's banner. Jalter and Tyra both come back around. If you don't like men, you can summon for the women, and they functionally are just baby versions of what the Count is trying to do. After that, we're getting the Spring Master campaign. Castoria comes back around. And this is a very simple decision matrix that you have to make. If you don't have Castoria, you summon, you throw your life savings at it, you go get your mom's credit card and dump it on that banner. If you do have Castoria, you just ignore it, right? It's just a time that you log in and, I don't know, maybe do some of your dailies, get caught up on story, or you just start converting your AP into blue apples, which is probably what I'm going to be doing. And that's going to be the month of March. I don't know. Somebody in the comments they'll timestamp that part, and they'll be like, look, if you don't want to watch the whole 20-minute video, just skip here, and he gives you the recap really quickly. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm also looking forward to the fact that I remember that I used to do these videos. I was sitting around today thinking, man, what am I going to upload tomorrow? It's almost March. What are we getting in March? And then thought, wait a minute, didn't I used to do videos talking about, like, hey, here's the news, here's what's coming out, get ready? It's kind of hard getting back in the swing of things, doing YouTube stuff again. But hey, we're getting there, alright? The content brain is slowly starting to come out. And you guys are giving me a lot of really good ideas as we get a lot more new players that want to learn how to play the game more, just want to like learn more of the terminology and stuff. So again, if you enjoyed the video, I would appreciate a like on it. I would appreciate a little subscribe to the channel as well. If you want to support the channel further, there is a Patreon down in the description down below, where even the lowest tier of like I think $1 gets access to all the things. You can do more for the Patreon, but I don't know if you get anything special for paying more. It's just like you want to be awesome, I guess you could do that, but I just made everything available for $1 and up. So if you want to be fiscally smart and you want all the bonus videos, just go for the lowest tier. That's what I'm telling you. Look, I'm also cheap. I'm also super cheap. That's what I would do. And also just comment down below what you're looking forward to most for the month of March. It's not like it's really a whole lot of competition. Are you excited for Ordeal Call 2, or are you excited for Spring Campaign? Like, I feel like it's not really a huge competition. I think everybody's going to say Ordeal Call 2. But look, maybe you're a guy that's like, I wasn't going to play FGO, but I'm waiting for that Spring Campaign. Those 225 Saint Quartz, it's almost enough to guarantee Castoria. Ain't that crazy? It's not even enough for the guarantee, but with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. You guys have yourselves a nice day, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.